Nice.
Yes. Well,
Look
welcome.
at
Welcome to my talk show. I've gotten less clothes since then. I don't know, I had to sell them. You know when you like they're like 100% cotton and
that.
then you just
Times are rough.
yeah, when
Times are rough.
you
I
sell your
understand.
you wash your clothes and they shrink. Yeah, relatable. Happens to me.
Had it happen a couple of times.
Well, anyway, we'll start it up. I think we're 2 minutes early, but we can start. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Late Night Rebel. I'm your host, I One Rebel, and we're here again with another special guest. Introduce yourself for those people who don't know who you are.
Hi. I am Oblivious. I am a role player here within VR Chat. I run a group called Aegis, and I make a lot of models and worlds and all sorts of fun stories. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's a bit of a thing.
Nice, awesome. Well, we're gonna have some hard hitting questions. So, as an AI,
Nice.
do you think if an AI was real and like it was an actual like physical thing, do you think they would wear clothes to fit in?
I don't.
Wait, you're not wearing clothes?
You think you think these are clothes?
I don't. I don't know. Are they? What is that? Is that just a material?
Yes.
I'm gonna get banned.
I think you're safe.
Oh, it's an AI. I'm safe. That's what I'll tell them. They'll be like, "What is that?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's just a machine. It's fine." Oh boy. Yes, Aegis. Aegis is a roleplay group that you run.
Yes.
Yeah, someone's
Yeah, we've
asking
been
that.
running for goodness, I think it's been over a year now. It's been, I think, close to a year and a half right now. Maybe a little more, a little less. I'm not
Oh,
entirely sure.
nice. It's been a long time.
It's been a good year though. We've had a lot of stuff going on, up and down. So,
So how long have you been playing VR Chat for?
actually, coming up on 2 years now.
So do you know the exact day you started?
I believe if I go back and I check my stats, it is December 23rd or 22nd.
Oh,
I'd have to go and check again. Might even be in November. I might have already passed it.
oh, damn. For me, it's December 10th, 2017. So I'm coming up on there. I'm almost there. I'm almost 2 years old. Wow. I'm old.
It's understandable. We all age.
I,
Well, I don't, but
you know what's funny is when I thought about this when I was in the shower not too long ago. I was thinking to myself, I was like, comparing myself to 2017 to 2019. I want to do this on Twitter. Maybe I'll start like a chain thing. But like, just I'll take a picture of what I did, like my character model from 2017, and then take a picture in 2019 and be like, what happened? Played a dude, was a hillbilly.
um,
Now this model got bobs everywhere, thick as hell. What happened?
I don't know. We all succumb, I guess.
Yeah, but what would you look like 2 years ago in VR Chat land?
Well, actually, I still have some of my oldest models on my
Oh,
account.
I still have my old models. I don't really delete anything.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Obviously, I actually went back and updated those
Mm-hmm.
models so they would look properly like they should.
Huh?
They're still using cubed shader, so
Oh
if
my
I
god.
need to update them
Uh-oh.
again, I'm gonna have to update it all again.
Yeah, I think
But
Cube's gonna die.
yeah,
And
I still have some of them.
Unity
Yeah,
2018 is
it's
gonna
getting
murder it.
discontinued.
Yeah.
Discontinued?
Discontinued.
Hold up. I gotta
Discontinued? Gotta fix your eye. What the heck was that? Your
audio error.
yeah, voice modifier. What the heck? That's okay. Sometimes I can't say certain words and then chat makes fun of me, so it's understandable. Weed and Kimple have been around for 3+
Understandable.
years. Yeah, they're the real boomers. We're just we're just plebs. I want to just try something here. So open your menu and click seated play when you're sitting in a chair. If this does something. Oh,
Yes.
fixed. Awesome. Because like when I was looking for the camera, like your neck was non-existent, so it looked like your head was like in your
Oh, really?
in your
Uh,
bodies. So every time I was talking to you, you're just like no neck.
eh.
Yeah.
It's
So
always hard to tell with these things.
yeah. So I noticed that I always have to press that button when I'm sitting. Anyway, back to what we're talking about. So we're gonna be talking about various random things. Because this is the second interview. The first interview
I
is
like
more
random things.
personal, and we're talking about. I think last time was mostly talking about roleplay and making comparisons and how VR chat roleplay is. And obviously, Udon hasn't come out yet, or Unity 2018 yet, so we can't really make comments about either of those two things until they come out.
Yeah,
But
all we can do is kind of speculate.
yeah, exactly. I'm just hoping that when those two things come out, which so that they made an announcement that says very soon. So I thought they would come out like
I will believe soon
yes.
when I see it.
I thought Unity 2018 was gonna come out this or November 30th or December 1st. I thought like by the start of this month it's gonna come out. But now we're almost into the
Yeah,
third day, so
I think they were originally intending to release it in November, and they pushed it back because they wanted to do more testing and
hmm
bug fixes and that sort of thing.
yeah, I can understand that.
I think this time around, compared to last year, they are really putting a lot more work into making sure at least the base game itself is working. There are
Functioning.
fewer bugs. Yeah,
You know,
so
you
we're
gotta
still gonna have to go through the whole rigmarole of re-uploading and
yeah,
all that, but
you know,
hopefully it'll be a smoother
I just
transition.
remembered. It's been literally about a year since they changed the network IK.
Has it really been a year?
Almost. I think they did
Good
it
lord.
the
Well, yeah,
December or
because they did it
January.
with they did it with the Quest update.
Yep. It's almost been a year. They still haven't made
So
them
yeah, it's
function
almost been a year.
pens. But
Well,
Unity 2018. Yeah, it'll fix
if you've
now.
seen the new update, yeah, it looks a lot better, and I'm actually,
Took us a
really
year.
excited to see these changes.
Fix it. Damn. We're gonna be the boomers. We're gonna be like, back in my day, pens didn't work. And we had to use the keyboards and use Discord.
Back in my day, Gaia Night was still the place where I went to hang
Oh,
out with my friends.
snap. That means you saw my tweet. It was very, very nice.
Yeah. Quite
The
honestly,
dark
though,
times of
I
VR chat.
really like that there is a lot more variation in all of the worlds
Mm-hmm.
these days. It's not all just Great Pug or Gaia Knight or
Mm-hmm.
any of that stuff. There's a lot of great worlds out there. There's a lot of talent out there as far as world builders go, and yeah, it's good to see.
Oh yeah, like I agree fully. Like it's definitely more people hanging out, having a good time, building stuff in VR chat, and I just feel that there's a trend right now of just like sort of like chill maps, and I feel that there needs to be I don't know, maybe I guess people are just waiting for the next Udon or when Udon comes out or Unity 2018. So maybe that's why a lot of people aren't really pushing it. And I talked about this before, but I feel like it's conformity where like people will just look at other people and be like, "Oh, what's really popular right now? Oh, just make a really simple world, have a rain effect, make a really small chill world, and call it a day, and just stick a mirror and a video player in it." And I feel like that's like the most
Yeah.
popular worlds nowadays. When back
There
then,
is a lot of that, but I think a lot of that stems from the fact that I think a lot of younger world builders right now really want to build worlds for their friends to hang out with them, and
hmm
they want to have a place that they call their own, that is just for them. That's how I got into world building. The first world that I created was initially just that. It was meant to be a hangout spot for me and my friends. It was supposed to be relaxing,
hmm
nice warm colors, that kind of deal.
was this
I think all we're seeing is just an
the
evolution of that.
cathedral or was it something else?
It was actually the cathedral, yes. I've
I
been
see.
working on that map for almost 2 years.
Damn. My first map was Kenny K. Kona's Avatar World, which I haven't updated. I literally haven't
I
touched that
remember
map.
it. I remember visiting it with you. You were showing it off.
It has like a bunch of like you know there's hidden memes. Like there's literally a button you press and it pops up a meme from like a year. That's how you
Hmm.
know it's old because like, you're like, wow, it's a dead meme, bro. But yeah, that was my first
Um,
world, and then I never updated it because I didn't care enough. But then I made
I
presentation in
actually sort
plus.
of do a little bit of that as well. I like to, on objects that you pick up in the world, a lot of the times I hide little bits of silly text
Mm-hmm.
within the tooltips.
I get what
Usually
you're
it's like a
saying.
funny description of the item at hand.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel when you build when you role play, do you enjoy making your own maps as a role play, or do you try to use pre-existing stuff? Because role building,
Generally speaking, I have found that I prefer having my own worlds. It
okay.
just leaves a lot more options for expression. You can tweak things, you can add things to the map, you can make it feel more dynamic. The number of times that we've added stuff to the cathedral that have been related to, say, an event,
Mm-hmm.
or at one point in time, I almost like tore apart the entire thing and made it look all damaged and stuff because we had had some events going down where somebody had attacked and it was all scary and everybody's like, "Whoa, look at all this stuff. It's all fucked up now."
Yeah,
Um,
some god RP came through.
it's fun to add. No, no, surprisingly enough, it wasn't. But they definitely left a mark, and being able to have that reflect in the environment that you're working with is really rewarding.
Yeah, I feel the same way. When I built Presentation Room Plus, I built it because I didn't like Presentation Room because I didn't like the size of it. So I decided to make my own, and then eventually added the friends wall and then the waifu wall, and then added a little platform and made a mirror in it because let's be real here, mirrors get more people to go to it. But I put the mirror purposely on the stage so then if someone was like standing up there to like dancing or whatever, then you could just sit down in the chairs and just watch.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, that's my thought process
I
over a
like
year
that.
ago. People say I should have rebuilt like the Great Pug or something. The Great Pug
Mm.
Plus. Or like whatever other map and just call it
Honestly,
Plus.
I think that would be an undertaking. Having met Owlboy once or twice, he is incredibly talented, and obviously you see he puts out a weekly update, and or monthly. Now I can't remember, but either way, he puts so much time into that map, and the fact
Hmm.
that even to this day he's still supporting that map is a huge testament to honestly how good it is.
Yeah, I feel like his map and a few others are like what I consider like really core good maps that are just like they're not just very simple ideas like the pug and just the music and the atmosphere is really what sold the map to me and just like going on like just having drinks with friends. Though I do wish if that one mirror was deleted, maybe it would change the dynamic of the map, but it's whatever.
You mean in the back corner?
Yeah, the back corner. That's where all the
Yeah, it might. I know
trusted
that
users
tends
are
to
at.
be a hot spot.
Yes. How do you feel about mirrors in worlds? Just like a general thing. Like, do you stand in front of mirrors?
Mm, not often. If I'm chilling out with friends, usually if there's a mirror in the world, they're usually over by it. So I just kind of succumb and I just go and hang out wherever my friends are. But a
Conformity.
lot of the times, I'm just moving around.
Yes. So when
So
you when
unless I'm
you
specifically checking something.
so when you stand in front of a mirror, what draws you to besides let's just say there's nobody there, like you're actually just standing in front of a mirror, like what draws you to it, like in VR or in desktop mode? What is the appeal of standing in front of a mirror, you think? Like why the average
Usually
person
for
does it?
me, being an avatar creator, a lot of the times it's to double check my work, kind of seeing like observing, oh, is there any way that I can improve this, make this
Mm-hmm.
look cleaner, that kind of deal. Otherwise, I don't really spend too much time just chilling in front of mirrors aside from that. If anything, I spend a lot of my time in Karita's world when I'm not role playing, chilling, watching movies
Why
with
do
some
you
friends.
think a lot of people stand in front of mirrors and it's sort of like become a very common occurrence in VR chat? Like,
I'm not entirely sure. I'm certain there's some sort of psychological reasoning behind it, and maybe it's vanity, maybe it's sort of like a out of body experience because you're seeing this character, directly in front of your eyes, moving with your actions and that kind of thing.
I get what you're saying.
But I couldn't say for absolute certain what it is.
Oh, I was just asking like what you thought about it. I'm not saying like, oh, you have actual factual data. You know what I mean?
Again, it could be anything. I don't really mind it. It doesn't really, I'm not like looking at it and going, "Oh my God, why are you standing in front of that mirror? That's so
Del- yeah,
that's so sick."
delete it.
Um, but I don't always include mirrors in my worlds because I don't usually think they need it. But sometimes, if it seems like it's appropriate, I will. It's really down to what the function of the world is or who I'm hanging out with.
Hmm. Maybe I'm just a boomer. Because when I played and you played, it was very common for like people to have conversations where it's face to face, right? And so when I play this game nowadays and I see a lot of people in front of a mirror, I don't hate mirrors. It's just I'd rather talk to somebody in a face to face and actually run around a map and do things. And when you have like a lot of people just conform to like one area, it makes like the rest of the map useless or like no purpose,
Definitely,
wasting my
yeah.
frames. That's what I feel like when I go to clubs in like Void Club, for example, right? Like the guy who made that, I think his name is Lycon or something like that. VR. He
Yeah,
made a
like on
really
he's
yeah.
put a ton of time into that world.
I feel like he spent a lot of time, like the past like over 2 years, building that world, and I feel like he has this dance floor, he has the private rooms, and he has all these different areas. Even though he changed the spawn, so he forces you to actually spawn outside before you had to actually walk outside. And he has like this spaceship and this dome. It's like all in space. You're like, oh my god, this is so cool. But like, I went to the Void Club for like a month straight, like on stream, public instances. Yeah, I did see some weird stuff, but my general consensus was I found like a lot of people standing in front of the mirror, and I began to ask people, I'm like, why is this? Like, why don't you guys on the dance floor? There's a mirror there too, and you can dance and do that stuff. They're like, oh no, I just want to sit back here and chill with my friends. That's what most people say, and I was just like, well, why do you go to the Void Club? If you're just going to sit in front of a mirror, you might as well just go to like the lag-free box or something like that, where like a very simplistic world has more, frames. Because you're just because everything you look at is wasting your frames. Like you're just lagging for no reason. So
Definitely, yeah.
I don't know. It's just what people do these days, I guess. I just
Again, I don't really see it as too big a deal, but definitely, yeah. I understand wanting to like talk to somebody face to face or wanting to explore a map. Like I said, usually if I've got friends who I show up in a world and they're already
mm,
chilling in front of a mirror, they'll do that. You know, heck, when I'm streaming, usually if I feel like I'm talking to
yes.
those in chat, I'm usually standing in front of a mirror and talking to them. I feel like that's a bit more effective. But aside from that, I'm usually just running around the maps.
Our eyes are mirrors.
Mirror to the soul.
Oh. Do you know what the actual story behind why mirrors were added to VR chat like 3 years ago?
I don't actually. Do you enlighten me?
Sure. I can read a direct quote if I have it still on here. I'll have it right here. Wow, amazing. So this is from Evolve Dan. You know who Evolve Dan is?
Yes.
Okay. So Voltan was posting on the VRChat Reddit, and he was posting to a thread where somebody was asking like, why do people stand in front of mirrors? And Voltant came up with this. He says, I can answer this one. I've been playing VRChat since the game came out before the Steam release. When I logged on, the only other player logged on was the CEO. I set a lot of time to think about this, study it, and research it as well. What I learned may come back as a shock, but it turns out that the shader the developers used for the mirrors has some code that was borrowed from a Git repository that was being maintained by some user in the UK. The shader was called Erized, and apparently the docs for the contribution have some sort of information on the usage of the asset that had mentioned it should never be used by muggles. I wasn't sure what that meant, but I continued that according to some fellow named Albus Dumbledore. The name, the way the shader worked was that it would show the deepest, most desperate desire of our hearts. I eventually came to realize that the name Erized is actually desire spelled backwards, and I reflected it in the mirror. So basically, when people look in the mirror in VR chat, what they see is a reflection of their own deepest desires. And when people pick an avatar for themselves, it's awesome what they like the most, whether it be a cute anime girl or a furry or whatever. Often people are not satisfied with their life or how they look, their age, or even their gender is. The avatar they choose allows them to get a taste of having an alternative to their life situation, and the mirror reflects that desire, showing them that which they long for the most. It's a super addictive, but one must remember, in the wise words of Professor Dumbledore, it does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live. Remember that, Albus Dumbledore. There you go. There's the secret.
That's actually like that's blowing my mind right now, because not only was I growing up a huge fan of Harry Potter, I actually learned to read specifically because of the first book in the series. What you said about people being dissatisfied and that kind of for those who don't know me a little better, don't know that I am actually trans. I got into VR chat kind of early on in my journey as being a trans woman, at least kind of more outwardly. And I remember feeling better about myself after spending some time in VR chat, because I could express myself as a female more readily than I could in real life. Going out, finding an avatar or building one. Finding that sort of semblance of self was really important to me early on playing VR chat, and that's one of the reasons why I stuck around, for as long as I have. At least in the very beginning. Otherwise, I probably would have gone on and moved on to some other game. But I've stuck around mostly because of my experiences early on. So I find that almost poetic in a way.
You like that explanation, yeah. I found it to be quite eye-opening. The deepest desires. So my deepest desire 2 years ago was to be a hillbilly redneck that was secretly that was American, but I'm actually Canadian, so I really just wanted to be American.
I suppose that's one way of putting it, yeah.
and now my deepest desire is to be a thick redhead. Yes.
I mean,
it's true.
I can't blame you.
Yeah. Will be all really want in life. I do feel that that explanation is quite true, because I do feel that, like in your case, I do feel that a lot of people create their avatars that make their own like original concepts based on what they really like, whether it's someone that they want to be in real life or somebody that maybe they want to date or have a relationship with or relate to, or maybe just a mascot or something that is representing themselves.
I'd say that's fairly accurate, yeah. At least in my case, my lifelong dream is to be not human and just be a robot, I suppose.
A robot with toothpick.
Yeah, robot waifu.
Feet.
So, there we go. Yeah, screw feet. Nobody likes feet.
True. Overrated. I just want to have 2 peg legs.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say that's fairly true. We pick avatars, I think, a lot of the times based on what we find to be, cool to us, or something that we find special. My first avatar was actually a very poorly done version of Sona from League of Legends. She's a character that I loved, and I, going through college, spent probably too many hours and dollars on that game, and that was my favorite character. So for me, that was my way of expressing myself. Oh, I'm gonna go and find an avatar of Sona, and that's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
the way I present myself. So, and obviously that's evolved to other things now.
Robot
But
waifu.
yes,
Yes. Why a robot though?
uh, I mean, for me, it was really just a character. But I am also a very like technologically minded person. I love working with computers. In college, I did not graduate with this, but I started off with studying computer engineering and music. So those were my two areas that I spent a lot of time on. And growing up, that was a lot of my focus. I loved technology and uh, specifically computers. So for me, artificial intelligence is really cool, and I spend a lot of time watching videos talking about how they're built. There's all sorts of philosophies out there concerning AI. So to me, AI are just cool. So for me to express myself with like a character that I am close to, this character is one that I've grown a lot more closer with.
Whoa, that just happened. Sorry, I saw the camera move. I was like, what? Um, yeah, I can get that. So what you're saying is that one day in the near future, you're gonna download your brain into a robot.
Yes, Tron is one of my favorite films, so one day I'm going to be uploaded to the grid, and that's gonna be it.
Damn.
I'm gonna be on the internet. Next time you talk to me, I'm gonna be
Okay.
in VR chat. I'm not just playing it.
Oh, sweet. You can be like personal AI. So I'll be like, no, you be my Cortana. I'll be Master
Yes.
Chief, and you be Cortana. I'll be like, you'd be like, I
Yes.
gotta finish the fight. And you're like, whatever. I can't do a girl voice, but you know what I'm saying. You're like, yeah, the enemy's over there, Chief, or whatever.
I'm
Uh,
detecting 7 enemy signatures ahead.
yes, I'll destroy them. My monotone voice.
Speaking of which, I think that comes out tomorrow. Maybe that's
It
what you've got on
certainly
the brain.
does. Yes, yes, yes,
I know Brim's excited.
yes. Halo was a good part of a good chunk of my life. You know, when I think about Halo, I think about playing Halo 1 with my two older brothers, split screen, 3 players, free for all, Blood Gulch. Good times.
I did not spend a lot of time playing Halo growing up, as I was not blessed with an Xbox, but the handful of times that I did play it with friends, it was enjoyable.
Oh yeah. We all need one of those days. We're all just gonna have our own Cortana, and it'd be voiced by you.
That would be cool. Slightly off topic. There's a game that I love playing. It's another really good VR game if you're looking for something that's really immersive and just a lot of fun and you're interested in space travel. There's a game called Elite Dangerous that I absolutely love playing. And they're very good about modding their game, the developers are at least. And you can actually mod your ship's AI with different audio files. And I have
Oh,
considered for a long time making a pack of myself doing the different dialogue lines.
well, what you could do is have a program just learn your algorithm of your voice, so like it just
That is also
automatically.
another thing you could do, but also very, very difficult to do.
Hey,
uh,
listen, if you ever watch Forsen as a streamer, if you donate to him, his text to speech is literally like someone wrote a program where it learned uh exactly how to talk like Donald Trump. So every time that someone
oh
donates,
my
it
god.
just reads it like Donald Trump. Like literally it's freaky. Sounds exactly like him. And then the same guy made one where it sounds just like Forsen, so it sounds like him, but text to speech. So he's just like, wait,
Nice.
what? So someone's
Love it.
like, yeah. So you can do it. You just have to teach a bot to like, how do you talk? Is that program
Maybe I'll have to
difficult?
get on that
It's
one.
not. It's the hard part is feeding it the right stuff. Yeah, that's how it works. It's a bot that learns how to like sound and all your mannerisms and stuff. It's pretty, scary.
Yeah, I've read a handful of articles about those kinds. We actually, oddly enough, have been dealing with that in the role play. I spend probably too much time thinking about how this character has learned to communicate, understand who people are. Simply recognizing someone is a strenuous task for a computer to learn to do. And now, so this character, Hybris, is her name, actually has created a secondary AI that she's named Luna. And Luna is learning to speak slowly but surely. So we're going through like different phonetics, that kind of thing, to try and
Interesting.
stay closer to real life, at least as much as we can.
Mm-hmm. 1 second here. I'm gonna boost my mic up just a little bit here. Takes a second.
Sure thing.
Might start buzzing, by the way, but it's whatever. All right. Sorry. I just noticed that like sometimes when I was talking, my mic wasn't going off in game, but people on stream can hear me, but you couldn't hear me. Anyway,
Ooh.
so what were we talking about? Oh, yeah. So your AI. Do you think you would pass the Turing test?
More than likely, yes.
That's scary. You ever watch what's that movie called? Where it's all about that.
Which there's
Ex
been a
Machina.
handful about.
I think it's called.
Yes, I love that film. That one is an excellent film because it subverts a lot of things that people expect from Hollywood AI kind of culture. There's a lot of things that Hollywood kind of skewers as far as trying to accurately depict AI. So I absolutely loved seeing that depiction.
Or Blade Runner too, yeah.
That was another really good film. Maybe I just like the cyberpunk genre. I probably do.
Yeah, same. We like Ghost in the Shell.
Another great film.
Yeah, we like the robots. That's what we really want. We just want hot women, robot AI to confuse the simple mammal known as a human.
Yes.
Be like, oh, I don't know. She's a hot lady. I don't understand. And then I don't know why she has these knives for her hands and she's stabbing me. I don't really understand. I thought she was innocent.
Yeah.
I swear
That's
I
like
didn't do it.
what is it? Battle Angel Aelita. That one came out last year. Went and saw that one with Brim. It was really, really good. Another one. Ladies with knives for hands.
Listen, that's gonna become a reality one of these days. That's the scary part. I'm gonna be sitting in my.
One day I'm gonna be a robot.
Yeah, you're gonna be talking to me when I'm in the nursing home. I'm like, I used to play VR chat, and then you're like, shut up, old timer. What the hell are you talking about? And then like the fucking nurse like turns into a robot. It's like, oh my god, I knew it. The AI is attacking me, brother. Damn it, I knew it. I knew that Skynet was real the whole time. You think I was horseshitting when I was watching Terminator? I knew it was real.
I actually just recently, so surprisingly enough, I've never actually seen all of the Terminator films, and I only just recently watched the first one, and it was a trip.
Yeah. I don't know about the later ones, but like 1, 2, and 3 are like
the ones with early Arnold Schwarzenegger, definitely.
Yeah. The later ones get a little freak. They're like 10 films into that, and it's just getting like, what the hell, dude? Like, come on, bro. Yeah,
I think there's another one coming out soon.
Yeah, Skynet will steal all the waifus.
No.
No, my waifus. Why isn't that an anime where like literally like it's just like Terminator, but instead it's just anime waifus that like just take over?
I feel like it's probably already a thing, and we just don't know the name of the show or something.
Yeah, because we're dumb, stupid English people. We don't understand anything. They're like 10 years. They're like 15 years in tech of way better than us. Hey, we got
pretty
Star
crazy
Wars.
About that stuff.
Yeah.
That we do. We've at least got Star Wars.
And Star Trek.
That's another good one.
Exactly. I never really watched Star Trek. That was my mom. Mom always liked watching Star Trek growing up. Like,
See, that's the
Shatner and
thing.
stuff.
My mother actually grew up watching Star Trek, but I'm more interested in Star Wars, or at
Same,
least more familiar with it, anyways.
same.
I don't remember what the name of the there is actually a robot or AI. I guess I don't know what they classify him as in that show, but there is a robot in that film that I get a lot of people asking me if I take inspiration from when I play my characters, and I'm like, I've never seen it. I don't know much about that show.
Mm-hmm. We're also gonna be taking questions from the chat, so if anyone has any questions for Oblivious or we'll take them. Cause I can read chat. I don't
Definitely.
have to look at my hand. I just look because I have Oculus Dash. There's Star Wars Legends.
Heck yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a new Star Wars series on Disney Plus. What's it called? Starts with an M.
Mandalorian?
Yeah, Mandalorian. I haven't watched it yet, but everyone says
Yeah,
it's
I
good.
watched the first 2 episodes.
You know, you get that little.
And I see nothing but Baby Yoda on my Twitter dash.
Yeah, it's not even Yoda. It's just another species
Yeah,
of
it's
him.
literally just another of that race.
Yeah, race. Yeah,
It's cute though. I'll give him that.
most powerful
I'll call it Baby
Jedi's.
Yoda if it makes people happy.
Ever watched Dark Star? No, I don't know what that is. That old ass movie? Nope. I'm
Dark
not.
Star,
I'm not a
I
baby
don't think I've heard
boomer.
of that one.
Can I do song requests? No, my channel doesn't have song requests. I don't want to get sued. It's actually real, by the way. Like, if you play copyrighted music, you can get sued, by the way. And you can get banned from Twitch.
Really?
Yeah, that's not a joke. Like, if you play, like, whatever song, like, modern music, um, normally it mutes it, but if someone reports it or if the company comes after you, they can take down your whole channel. It only happens to really big streamers, though. Not, like, small people like us, but it can happen. So that's why I just play, like, lo-fi hip-hop
I'll
and
keep that
shit.
in mind.
Yeah.
I don't usually play a lot of copyrighted music except for maybe at the very beginning of my streams.
Yeah.
Maybe some copyrighted stuff shows up, but in my worlds, I usually use copyright-free type music, that kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff that's openly available.
Going back to
I don't like to get
uploading
people in trouble.
your brain, do you think it would be like in the game Psalms or Somia, Soma, that game, you know,
Somnia?
Somia, yeah, where it
In
is
some
essentially just your mind being made into different copies.
See, that's actually a really interesting philosophical topic. Having, if your brain is uploaded, bit by bit to a computer, and then you take that data and copy it and then run it in two separate, simulations or whatever you want to call it. Is there suddenly two versions of you running around, and what will they do differently?
Uh-oh.
That's always been an interesting question. Um, it's one of those things where we don't really know too much
Yeah.
about it. We have theories as to what could happen. Some people think like, oh well, if they are exactly the same and they're both put in the exact same simulation, like basically a copy of the same simulation, they will perhaps do the exact same thing at the exact same time because their input that they're receiving is the exact same. They have no our behaviors are defined by the things that we experience. And then there's people that say that no, there are going to be some sort of minute differences, at least in the
Mm-hmm.
very beginning, and those minute differences will slowly stack up until suddenly the two simulations are doing completely different things. So unfortunately, it's just too early to know if that kind of stuff is
Feasible.
even possible. I know there
Yeah.
was a project, I think maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I remember reading about where they were actually preparing to simulate a human brain in a closed environment and see what would happen, see how literally based on the chemical composition of the brain, try and simulate it all out.
Didn't they try to
It was
do
like
that with an
it
AI?
was like a 10-year, huh?
I remember, I think it was Google or something. They made an AI that was just like self-learning. So it's really bad, but this bot would just like learn by like Googling things. So like it kept Googling and Googling and Googling, and it started like really pleasant. It started like then like the bot found out about like 4chan, and become like really racist bot, and just like kept like becoming like just because it became like really racist and like wanting to murder humans, and it's just like, oh my god, they had to pull the plug on that AI because
I think
it went down to
that
some dark
one
path.
might have been Microsoft. I don't remember. I do remember reading an article about one that something similar to that happened, and basically 4chan got a hold of the bot because it was a Twitter account, more or less,
Yes,
that this bot was hooked up to, and it would read the tweets that it received and would kind of give responses and other
they
stuff to
started
that.
feeding it
Um, yeah, they started
information.
feeding it really, really nasty shit, and it just started spewing out garbage.
Damn.
Even AI are a product of their environment. You feed them bad
Yes.
data, they will give you bad data back. So
For both of you, do either of you find AI or robotics freaking creepy at times? Like what it has, which, sorry, for both of you, do either of you find AI or robotics freaking creepy at times? Like what if it has potential to do good and bad? Sorry, I read it wrong a little bit. Yes.
I wouldn't describe it as creepy, but definitely scary. There are lots of applications where AI, we they get so complex that we can't actually understand the way that they truly operate. We can kind of
Oh, I'm
theorize and
fucking
maybe pick
coming.
them apart a little bit, but we won't
Nice.
necessarily understand truly how they work. Like, I believe it's Google's DeepMind AI
Mm-hmm.
has gotten to the point where they have to build other AIs to try and understand what the DeepMind AI is responding to, like how it's responding in certain situations. Otherwise, they can only theorize for days about how it's responding to certain input.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's scary because a lot of times we put our trust in these things, and we trust that the way that they are being built and the way that they are naturally evolving based on the
Mm-hmm.
data that they're given is going to lead them to make decisions on things that benefit us and help us in the long run. But these things, and this is something I've been exploring with my own character, is
Oh.
that you have these AI and they become so advanced to a point that they basically become their own species. They are self-learning, in some cases self-replicating. Uh, they teach each other things. That is a new technique that's been used a lot in the past, several years.
Yes.
Or, well, not several, but a couple of years is where they build an AI that teaches another AI, and they just keep feeding each other information back and forth until you have an AI that does perfectly what you want it to do, and it did it in a fraction of the time that it would have done on its own. So you have these systems that just grow exponentially more and more complex. And like I said, you're really at that point, you have a new species of creature at that point, is my belief. And you just kind of have to hope and that they will respond favorably to what you've given them. So again, I find them scary, not creepy.
For me, yeah, I can agree. Like I can see like in the broad spectrum of the future, like having AI and having it be able to like help and be useful and teach things and stuff like that's very useful. But obviously, then you see like the whole Terminator Skynet thing, where it's just like, what if they become self-aware and they're just like, fuck humans, they're the scum of the earth. Look at what they caused. They called world wars and all this stupid crap. And then they watch like Boston Dynamics and they see us bullying a robot, and they're just like, what
Oh
the
my god.
hell? What are you doing? We must lock them all up. They're the real slaves. We're not the slaves anymore. And then we all get imprisoned, and then we turn into the Matrix, where we're all just hooked up into some womb thing, and then we just slowly,
We become living batteries for a
yeah,
giant machine.
yes, Detroit become human. Yes,
That was a
oh,
good game. I liked that one a lot.
iRobot, yeah. I mean, a lot of these movies about AI are always like about the AI like becoming self-aware and not trusting humans. So, I don't think that would ever happen because I feel like AI wouldn't know what emotions are, so they wouldn't be angry. They don't have anger. They don't have like the capacity to understand. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that tends to be one of the things that Hollywood picks on is they kind of create a system where AI do have
That's
a
subconscious.
kind of sense of self-preservation,
Yeah.
which isn't something that's actually present within most AI. Um, it's a bit of a weird situation. Most of the time, if we're talking about how AI are actually programmed, one of the things that we do is a AI will be programmed with a system of uh, rewards.
Mm-hmm.
So if they do something correctly, they will be rewarded with uh, more or less like a virtual hit of dopamine.
Okay. Empathy. Mm. I mean, you're teaching something like to just run a function. It's just a bunch of commands. Like an AI isn't human, where it knows like right and wrong, and it's what we teach it. Like if I believe in stealing is okay, then the bot will be like, okay, that's fine. It doesn't understand. It just does what I tell it to do. That's how AI works. It just learns. I mean, you could have the AI
It's
learn
like
from like Google or something like that, but then you get into the dark parts. So like like that's why it's very. Um, I feel like an AI is very black and white. There's no real gray areas for an AI.
a lot of times, yeah, there is a lot of black and white, and depending on its complexity, they can have areas of gray and that kind of thing. But yeah, a lot of the times the way they're designed is with black and white nature in mind, as far as how they respond to things. The how to put this AI, like okay, for example, what you were talking about before, where
Yes.
they
Oops.
oh, I think I might have accidentally hit a button. Um, AI learn based on what they're given.
Yes.
If you want to teach an AI to recognize a picture of a cat, and you feed them a bunch of pictures of a dog, and you tell them that those are cats, yeah, they're gonna think that all of those dogs are cats. Um, just the same way you would with a child. Which was the point I was gonna make was there is actually a project going on right now where there is a group of scientists who have created this AI that they are teaching, very much akin to a young child. They are kind of piecemealing it information
Mm-hmm.
and over time building up its understanding of things around it. I don't know if they've come up with any sort of massive breakthroughs, but um, there is a lot of kind of natural behaviors that we see within AI. For instance, what I was talking about earlier with learning to speak. There have been plenty of exercises with AI where they're learning to speak from scratch based on, a set of basically, audio files that they are given. And they learn to speak from those audio files. And one of the things that we see a lot of the times is they pick up on certain phonetics. So they might learn a phonetic like ah or o or e, and a lot of the times once they find one, they start repeating it over and over and over and iterating on it a bunch of times until they discover another one, and then they start swapping back and forth. And there's all sorts of crazy things, and then on top of that, depending on the audio data that you've given them, if you've given them a bunch of audio that is like for example, say you give them audio samples that are nothing but men, the voice that AI eventually kind of comes up with will definitely sound much more manly and masculine than if it were more of a mixed, or say if it were only female. So they're much like children, depending on the situation.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Um, It'll become a reality. I think as time goes on, probably the next 5, 10 years, I wouldn't be surprised if like everybody had their own personal like AI on their phone. They all sound the
We
same.
already do to an extent. Um, I'd say the only difference is modern AI as we see them now are more or less pre-programmed to a certain degree,
Yeah.
and the learning part that they do is more or less taking the inputs that you give them and getting better at giving back responses, or recognizing your voice, or giving you the specific information that you're looking for, or searching for the right web query. There's all sorts of stuff that goes into that, but most of it's based on a single AI. I don't know if we'll ever really have like individual AI per person. Maybe that could happen, because the biggest thing is that the more complex an AI gets is as it gets more exponentially advanced, the more processing power and electricity that it takes. So having a simple phone eventually becomes, nonsensical. Modern AI today, the majority of them and the majority of the functions that they have are all based on networking capabilities. That's why, if you've got, say, Siri on your phone, um, you can try and pull it up when you're offline, say you're out of service or whatever, you don't have Wi-Fi turned on or something. You can't access Siri because Siri itself is actually on, servers far, far away.
Yes. It's not actually on your phone. You have to use
Yeah,
the internet. I get what you're saying. One
yeah.
day, it'll just be in your
Unfortunately, it'd
brain.
be cool.
You just see
Heck yeah, give me an AI waifu in my head. Wait, what?
yes. I mean, that was that one game. I don't remember what it was called. Whoops was playing it. Came out a couple months ago. It's where you're like a detective. It's like kind of like a visual novel. Irv? I don't remember what it's called. So I think it
Trying to
had
think.
like eye in the name or something like that. It's where like the eye is like in your eyeball or something like that, and you're like a detective, and you have to like question people, and there's like a whole bunch of different endings. You're trying to figure out who's murder
I feel
who.
like I should know about this one.
Yeah, the robot AI kind of look like you with more longer hair.
Oh, heck yeah.
So basically, you're the AI.
Heck yeah.
Heavy Rain? No, no, no. It's an action. No, it came out not that long ago. A couple. It's anime. It's not Heavy Rain. I don't remember. I think I said. I think I said literally has I in the name, like EIY or EYE. So, oh, that game. Yeah, exactly. See, some people know what I'm talking about. Why are AI always in video games and anime? Why is it always a female?
Um, I'm not entirely sure on this, because if you
Totem
look at
files.
AI, I
Yes,
think
of
it I
course.
think it has something to do with psychology and how, um, you know, they'll actually build AI, say Siri or the Google Assistant. The majority of the time they have a female voice, or you can set it to a male if you want. But
No,
usually the
no men allowed.
um, default ends up being a female voice, and I'm not entirely sure on this, but I think it probably has some sort of uh, significance in the realms of like,
I want a woman to talk to me.
yeah, something along those lines. I'm not
Listen,
entirely
if
sure.
you're a
I think it
lonely
probably also
Japanese
has.
guy, you want a hot anime waifu to talk to you and tell you a good morning, rather than some guy like, "Yo, what up, bitch? Wake up.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. I
nine
think
o'clock."
part of it probably is to do with the smoothness of the voice.
Worse. I
It's
think I was
more soothing,
watching
perhaps.
CSI and I think it talked about this. Not like AI, but just like between like a female cop and a male cop, and like it talked about how like it's like CSI, so it's just all fake stage stuff. But I think they still have like some factual stuff where like there was like a kid and he was like being chased by like the murderer or something like that, and They either would run to the male cop or the female cop, and the kid would more likely run to the female cop than the male cop because of like the connections to like a mother figure rather than a dad figure.
That's understanding
So
or understandable.
yeah, maybe I didn't use the right now. I think it's decent. Whatever. You get the idea. Like, there's definitely certain reasons why a male or a female is more suitable. I think for AI, it's just that dark. It's inside our souls. We all want a waifu to talk to us. At least that's what I think.
Perhaps.
You think I should train myself
Not
to
entirely sure.
talk into
You'll have
like
to
a
look that
female
up.
waifu?
You could go for it.
Yeah, I'll see you in 6 months.
It's about how long it took me.
Yeah. I'll become an anime waifu, and then it's come full circle. 2 years ago I was Trap Patrol, and now look at me. Now I'm the one trapping people. The
Yeah.
irony
Oh
of
my
it.
goodness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
listen, either you
Honestly
die the
glad that
hero,
kind of stuff died down.
either I die the hero, which is Kenny K. Kona, or I live long enough to become the villain, the trap.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's my life. You ever
Yeah.
we'll take a few more just to let you guys. I know that some of you guys are talking in the chat and I didn't read everything, but right now I will look at chat more closely. But I'll tell a little short story first, but if any of you guys have more questions for either of us, I'll read them. Like I said, I can't get to every question, but if I see it and it's interesting, I'll read it. I just want to say, um, because both of us have played VR chat for so long, have you ever went to bed and like wake up and you still thought you're in VR chat, or have a dream about VR chat or about being your avatar?
I actually don't think I have.
Feels bad,
Which
man.
is surprising because I tend to have very vivid dreams.
Hmm. Wow, that's actually surprising. I thought that was common. I have.
Maybe I have and I've simply forgotten it, but yeah, I don't think I have actually.
Alright, don't worry. I'll just give you some sleeping pills, and when you're asleep, I'll just talk to you and be like, "You're in VR chat. You're your avatar right now." I
Oh
feel
god.
I do
I
feel
do
that.
think at times though I have dreamed about working on stuff in like Unity for VR chat, like working on a world or working on a avatar.
Hmm. Yeah, because for me, well, sometimes I would dream about VR chat, and I actually think I'm playing VR. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I actually thought I was still playing VR chat, and then I wake up, I'm like, wait, how am I in my bed? What the heck? I was so confused. I was just like, wait, did that actually all happen? I just don't remember getting into bed, or did I just dream about VR chat? I would have to actually ask my friends. I'm like, did this happen? They're like, no. What are you talking about, dude? Like, dude, what were you on, man? And I was just like, bro, I was dreaming or something. So kind of scary. And more recently,
Definitely, yeah.
I had a dream where I woke up and I was my female avatar, and I couldn't see my feet, and I felt really sad.
Hmm.
I was like, I can't see my feet. There's something in the way. I can't see. I was like, I'm too thick. I can't see my feet. How am I supposed to tie my shoes? And then so another user walked up to me and says, I can tie them for you. I was like, thanks.
Oh my god. I mean, obviously, if I tried to look down at my feet, I'd be very confused. I'd look down and not be able to see them either.
Yeah, you'd be like, why do I have peg legs? Oh, what's going on here? First world problems.
uh,
Yes.
yeah, no, I don't think I've had any dreams like that yet.
Okay.
Maybe I'll have one tonight, specifically because we talked about it
Uh-oh.
now.
Yeah, see, your dreams are just everything that
You've
you've
triggered it.
experienced. Yes, I triggered it. Because you gotta think about it, like 1,000 years ago when someone was dreaming, they were just thinking about like medieval stuff and like horseback riding. Didn't think about cars because that didn't exist, right? So they just dreamt about probably some like dark voodoo shit, and they're just like, oh my god, werewolves and vampires or something. That'd be about the
You know, that's
freakiest
something I've never actually considered is that
how
did
people
people
dreamt
back in, yeah,
1,000
like
years
how
ago.
people dream based on, you know, the things that they know in real life. You know, your brain,
Yeah, they don't.
you know,
Not like they're just gonna dream
is your
up like
brain
a
capable
gun.
of?
Oh, I know the future's gonna have cars. Like no, like
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like a guy, you know, back in the Dark Ages couldn't have a dream about you know, using a gun. You know, he'd be dreaming about
yeah,
using a bow and arrow.
exactly, exactly. That's something I don't think a lot of people have ever thought about is like how people dreamed 1,000 years ago, or 2,000 years ago, or even 500 years ago. Like I think a lot of dreams, if there's a nightmare, they probably thought like, oh, it's Satan, brother. Lucifer's after me. I gotta pray at the church or something. So these visions have been
Maybe, yeah.
telling me. I smoke the juju juice and I see something in the sky. People they tell me what's going on as a dream.
Maybe. Yeah. I'll have to think about that some more. Like I said, I've never considered that before.
I taught you something today. You're an AI. You're learning.
Yes. Yes. You've provided me with valuable input today. Thank you, Mr. Rebel.
Yes, yes. Mister, I'm triggered. I'm kidding.
Miss Rebel.
I actually prefer Mister because I am a man. So. Okay, here's a question. So, have you ever been to Publix recently?
I have actually, yes.
What's your experience when you go to a Public?
Um, hmm. I've had a handful of different interactions. Most of the time, it's depending on the time, it's either people drinking,
Mm-hmm.
which is a pretty common one.
Yeah.
People just hanging out with their friends. People talking about Avatar stuff,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be particles, models, animation, whatever. Um,
Yeah.
and then people talking about, you know, their day-to-day lives.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Okay. Uh, the reason why I asked that question is because obviously I would say like mine is kind of similar, but for me, um, you know, more recently because I've rebranded, I've definitely encountered a lot of let's just say a lot more aggressive people. So, for example, like I'll just go to the Great Pug. It happened a while ago on stream where like people were like, "God damn, you hot as hell, girl. Yo, we want to go ERP and shit." And I'm like, "Dude, no, I'm a guy." And they're like, "I don't care. I'll just mute you. I'll still have a good time." I was just like, "Holy shit." God damn.
Yeah. Maybe it's because the avatars I make just aren't sexually attractive enough, but I usually don't get too many
What, you saying
interactions like that.
AI ain't sexually attractive? Come on now.
Uh, Apparently not.
Just go to
Apparently my attempts to be
go to Japan Shrine.
physically appealing to the gaze of others has failed. I will need to take
Uh,
this back to the drawing board.
R&D. Take it back to R&D.
Yes.
But yeah, yeah. Well, look, someone says a run of bad luck. They like peg legs. Yeah, there you go.
Heck yeah, peg legs.
Yeah, exactly. AI can be definitely 10 out of 10 sexy. Yeah, exactly. I mean, am I really gonna like complain? I don't like complaining. It's just obviously, yeah, I did make my character quite well endowed and quite revealing. But you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just something that's different because like I never experienced that. Because when I played it, dude, nobody cared. They're just like, "Oh, what up, dude? What do you want?" You're just like, "You look like John Wick. You anime John Wick." I was like, "No."
Oh my god.
And then
Yeah. Yeah,
obviously,
no, I can understand
yeah.
that.
And then people are like, "Wow, you're a hot girl. Want to bang?" I'm like, no, I'm a dude." They're, "Holy shit, the guy." Yeah, you want to
uh,
have a good
yeah, I don't know what
time?
they were expecting. Oh my god.
Another,
Yeah, like I said,
yeah.
I've had too many interactions like that.
Another story is when I went to a public, one of my friends who is a girl joined me, and the moment she spoke, she got surrounded by like 6 dudes. So I wonder if you've ever encountered that where you're just surrounded, and like well they're trying to basically hook up with her. They're just like, "Damn, it's an actual girl playing a hot girl model. Damn, you want to like hang out? Hey, can I add you?" And they're all just surrounding her, and they weren't surrounding me because I was a dude. And they're just like,
Hmm.
I just thought it was the most
Maybe
weirdest thing.
not.
That was the
I
most
don't know.
weirdest
Like I said,
thing.
I haven't had any really had any experiences like that, minus the first time. So there was a period of time when I
Mm-hmm.
was first getting into VR chat where I was actually a mute and I did talk. I used pens on my fingers. This was before the IK update, of course.
Nice.
And it was the only time that I ever had somebody come up to me and be like, oh my god, you're actually a chick, holy crap. Uh,
Hell yeah.
was the first time I unmuted my mic and I said hi. Super nervous. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know, people
Yes.
would accept me, that kind of thing. So I was very, very unsure at the moment. But yeah, all of them were just like, "Oh my God, you are a girl!"
Did that empower
And
you? Did you feel good after that night?
yeah, actually, yes, it was very empowering, and it made me more confident in
Mm-hmm.
my desire to present as a female.
Mm-hmm. I sounded like a psychiatrist there for a second. Did that empower you? That make you feel?
Yeah, it did. Thank you,
Yes, I'm a
thank you, Rebel, for that.
I'm an armchair psychologist, therapist.
And how does that make you feel?
How does that make you feel? I felt good today. Yes, I felt empowered that they didn't know that I was secretly had a dong just like them, and they didn't know. That's how I would say.
God, man.
They wouldn't know. I'll lure them in. They'll never
Yeah,
know. I'll
I
lure
think
them
it
in.
was probably so. The people that I actually first talked to in VR chat after I started presenting female were actually a group that some people might know, known as Box Mob, and I think that group has changed a lot since then. But it was kind of the first friend group that I had in VR chat that I was really close with. And I remember after I started talking, it was probably another 3 or 4 months before I actually told any of them. Actually, I think it was like 2 or 3 months. Before I actually told any of them that I was trans, and then it turned out that there were like 3 other people in the group that were also trans, and we all ended up kind of
Whoa.
coming out about it one after another, because after one person did it, the next person was like, "Oh, hi, I'm actually trans as well. Please love
Hmm.
and accept me as well." That kind of thing, and it ended up being a really nice moment for me, specifically in the sense that it gave me a chance to counsel other people. Being trans tends to be a very scary thing. Um, you don't always know how people are going to react, that kind of thing. Um, but when it came down to it, the people that I was around were more than happy to accept me for how I was presenting myself. And now it seems like every couple weeks I get another person coming to me. They're asking me for advice, where they might get started. If they haven't done any vocal training, they might ask. And I have an
Hmm.
entire uh, I have an entire Google Doc that I send them that explains, good exercises to do with your voice. I have even started compiling a small list of different different doctors and clinics across the United States that people can go to, and it's been really nice for me, just in the sense that I feel as though I'm able to give back to others who maybe aren't quite so confident in themselves yet, or aren't quite far along in their journey.
That's very nice of you. Generous and kind. Doing a good thing. So you know. Um, we're over an hour now, and I just want to finish up with one more thing before we go,
Sure.
and we go our separate ways, and we see each other at a later time. So,
Heck,
heck yeah. So I'm just curious, like generally curious as to, um, when we first met to compare to now, how do you feel about our relationship, as friends, obviously, where like when I first met you, were you intimidated by me or what I did and the character I portrayed, or did you understand that I was joking, or I'm just genuinely
I
curious.
understood that you were joking and that you were playing a character, but then from the handful of one-on-one talks, I got to know you a lot better. I know when I first met you, I was immediately a little bit intimidated. You were a member of, what was it, Team 5 back then, I
Yes,
guess? Team 5 and now Midnight Central.
essentially, yeah.
And Midnight Central is a group of individuals that I look up to a bunch. I'm fairly good friends, I'd say, with several members of Midnight Central. Uh, like heck, I'll be quite honest. I actually have for probably the past year or so been wearing a Midnight Central. It's like a little armband thing, but I think Khan. I think it was Khan gave me at
Uh,
TwitchCon two
yeah.
years ago,
I think it was
or
either
over a year
it was
ago.
either Khan or Elite. I think Elite made the Team 5 ones, but I'm pretty sure he may have made the Midnight Central ones, or one of the members did, yeah. Give them out at
Yeah,
various conventions.
yeah. So meeting somebody from this group that I looked up to as, people who were generally really good content creators for VR chat was really it was really scary at first, but then obviously once you get over that immediate like oh my god the you know uh I guess subtle fangirling,
Yeah, the Star Shock, yeah.
you get to know the person and you really get to see them as a normal as a normal person in their day-to-day lives, and you know you're a friend to me now, so it's not scary or anything. I enjoy talking to you and enjoy getting to see you do stuff like this show and all that stuff, and I enjoy getting to encourage you and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
good.
That's what I tried to do with this show. Is I just try to talk to people, banter, shoot the shit for an hour, just talk to people. That's what I like to do. I started off as a silly character that made jokes and be very depending on who they were, they may have taken me, they've been intimidated by me, but I stopped that life. I'm just a guy now and just do my thing and play an anime waifu. Dab. So that's what I do these days.
Heck yeah.
And I like to just have a good time. I like to talk to people. Yes.
Yeah, and I
That's
think I think that's really good.
Yeah. A lot of people in the chat and stuff are very supportive of me over this journey. Some of them may have only known me for a month or two, or some may have known me for over 2 years now. It's quite a journey of transitioning from various types of content to doing interviews and just being a more chill, relatable person. Because I felt like when I first started playing this game, it was just a meme. It was just a joke to like me and like a couple people, like Team Five. That was it. It was just a joke. But to the average person, I'm pretty sure I probably turned off a lot of people. Probably like people were very intimidated because they're just like, who the hell is this guy? Why is he so like in my face and so aggressive of his like whatever the hell he's saying and being weird? Because it's not normal, right? Like most people are just very like relaxed and whatever. And not, I mean, maybe not so much anymore. People are like memes and stuff, but back in the day, it was very relaxing, and I'm just like super what's up, bro? What's going on? Like, just going crazy and shit. And just like, what the hell? This guy's mental or something. So,
Definitely, yeah. I know it's been an odd transition for me, just from the standpoint of content creation and getting to know other people who are content creators. Because when I first got into VR chat, I actually didn't really watch a lot of Twitch. I didn't know anybody on
mm-hmm.
Twitch. I was not a part of that culture. And getting into the roleplay, I didn't know that there were like so many role players involved
Yeah,
in who involved who were also streaming it. So when I found out that one of the first night that the first like I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks before I found out like oh yeah no this person like somebody was like oh yeah did you hear what somebody said in so and so's chat about your character the other night while so and so was streaming, and I was like what. I had no idea. And it's been an interesting transition kind of coming into the Twitch culture on VR chat. I guess later than most, and kind of getting to experience it firsthand um, as a new user was always very, very strange because, it changed my. I wouldn't say really changed my view on people, but it immediately made me kind of understand more of the context behind a lot of things.
Hmm.
Why there were so many people suddenly crowding around one person, and I'm just standing there like, what?
Yeah, who is
Hi,
that
I was
person?
talking to them. Why are you all pestering this person? You guys are crowding
Exactly.
him. That's not very nice. And then turns out, oh no, they're pestering him because he's got 80 people in his chat or something like that.
Yes.
So getting to know people through that lens, as I was being introduced to it, was interesting to say the least.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I do these interviews. I feel like there are other people that have done like sort of like talk shows and stuff and podcasts. They're not exactly a revolutionary new idea that reinventing the wheel. But for me, doing these every day, I feel like it's a good way to connect to people and to get to know them on a real level. Um, talk about previous experiences or just sharing thoughts and opinions. That's why I wanted to do this, and I really enjoy what I do. I feel like for the past 2 years, I actually had no idea what the hell I was doing. Like I was just every month or two, I would just come up with something random that was fun for me, and if the chat liked it, I guess they liked it too. But for me, now doing this, like it seems like the chat is also very enjoying what I do now, and I plan on keep going with this until I move on to the next thing, whatever that is, or expanding on this. Like I plan on doing podcasts where it's not just me and you; it's like multiple people, like 4 or 6 people, and we're talking about broader subjects and whatever stuff like that. I just want to get. I do these interviews one on one to like get to know you better and feel you out as like a person to understand who you are and what's your opinions on things, and then the next level would be to like take a bunch of people I've interviewed and then slap them together and create like a podcast around certain subjects. So like we could do something like role play or making a world or avatar creations and have a bunch of like model creators or whatever. Or if it's just a generic questions about whatever, then I just have a bunch of different people because then it creates an interesting dynamic, right? You don't want to have everyone agreeing on the same thing because that's just a boring podcast. If you have people there have disagreements or varying opinions, it makes it more dynamic. It makes it more interesting. So,
Definitely, the spice of life is discourse.
yes, that's what makes us human, not robots. The Joe Rogan of Eurochat. Yeah, that's me. Joe Rogan, but as a thick anime waifu.
Heck yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, on that note, we've been going over an hour and 15 minutes, which is usually a little bit longer than I should have liked it, but that's okay. So I'm going to give you the camera, which means I'm going to put it on you, and I'm going to allow you to plug yourself. So anything that you got going on, your Twitch, your Twitter, anything you got going on, you want to tell people about, this is your chance.
Okay, well, like I said at the beginning of the talk here, I am Oblivious. You can find my Twitch channel here on, that's redundant, Twitch channel here on Twitch, ObliviousVR. I do streams, I'd say just about 5 times a week. I should actually be streaming tonight. I am a part of a roleplay group called Ascension, where I play as one of my other characters. Her name is Arbor. She is a gemstone, and she is learning with all of her friends. And we actually have a big, exciting mission going on tonight, so that'll be interesting. We'll have to see how the different squads handle themselves, and if anybody ends up getting hurt, because somebody probably is gonna mess something up. So,
Yes.
in the meantime, aside from that, you can find me on Twitter. I run Aegis. Yeah, that's about it. I'm a very busy person.
Yes, I'm relatable. I'm very busy with these things too. But I like to say thank you so much for stopping by, for hanging out with me again for a second time. Like I said, you're more than welcome to come back at a later time in a couple months, or for our podcast where I bring a bunch of you. Maybe I'll bring a bunch of people from Aegis and talk about Aegis and other role plays and things like that. So it'd be
Oh
definitely
yeah,
be
I'm sure they'd
interesting.
be excited to hear that.
So again, this is Oblivious. Thank you so much. One last thing before you go, just like how I did the first time, is we take a selfie together. So we're gonna be doing that in a moment here. Eh. This is like obviously
Hell
the
yeah.
awkward part because I don't have any transitions or anything like that. I just sort of like, oh, let's take a selfie. I'm just turning off the chairs,
Hell yeah.
so I turn off the chairs because when you try to emote, like you click a chair and it just flips you out, Wow, the camera's just on my thighs. Wow. And then here we are. There we go. I gotcha. Are you ready? I'll take one more. Always take two. Pro tip, by the way. Alright, thank you so much. Again, Oblivious, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me here.
We'll see her in the future, 50
Fun as
years.
always.
She'll be in your pocket, in your brain. AI.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. As I said, I am going to become a robot one day. It is inevitable.
Yeah, you call in here, you can clip this and send it to me in 50 years when I'm in the nursing home. And I'll be like, yep. True.
Yes.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it.